My #1 goal will be Commonwealth Games. Then the focus shifts to later on in the year in November when it's sort of World Triathlon Championship Series Grand Final. And I think if I perform at that race, you want to be on that start line when the gun goes off at Paris. If I can be there, then I've done all the right things to give myself a chance to be the best I can be. I'm Sam Dickinson. I'm a professional triathlete living and training in Leeds. I'd say it's a classic Thursday. It's to get a threshold swim in, easy 45-minute run, and probably 2.5 hours on the bike with some hill reps.
Just go out with them, just do what they do.
Yeah, man.
Fair enough.
Are you on next week too?
Yeah, I'm on.
So the swim, on Thursdays we work on threshold, on Tuesdays we work on VO2 max. And so this morning's swim was a little bit short turnarounds, longer reps, towards the end there, just building up the rep length of sort of developing that threshold, but it's very early doors in terms of the season. It's probably a few weeks into training for building into winter, so nothing too hard, but still it's the build on the way to a full winter program.
Jeff, your elbow's looking great this morning. You've got real nice high elbows and fingers down. So what we've got this morning is 1250s on 40, and then we're going 100 easy, and then the second block is we're going 250s and then 100, 3 times through, and then 100 easy, and then the third set we're going 6 100s on 115, then 100 easy, and then just as a nice present at the end, just to finish things off nicely, we're just going to go 100, a 200, a 300, and what they've got to do on that is hold pace.
I use this like swim clicker, so I've got my rate and I'm going to try and play around with it to try and find a good threshold rate for today. Another couple hundred. I'll go on the top. Yeah, that was alright. That was hard. I did what I wanted to do. 67s throughout the threshold. Trying to hold a stroke count of 68. But yeah, just teaching you to stay long, stops you being choppy, and keeps it in threshold. It's only 5.5. I'm used to getting 6, 7, 8. So it's early doors. I've still got a long day to go. So if I was knackered after this one, then I'd be struggling. So I finished the swim, done my swim stuff, got my running trainers. So literally it's a quick turnaround from the swim, put your running shoes on, then head out into Middleton Park for a run.
There's a lovely park, Middleton Park, which is the park I run round, and it's got nice trails, it's soft on the feet, so it's good for injuries. I think the outdoors has always been part of my life. Even before I wanted to be a professional athlete, you'd always find myself and my brother getting out on the mountain bikes and disappearing off for a few hours. That was just ingrained in me from a really early age, just the outdoors and being outdoors. It definitely lets off loads of good endorphins, I'm pretty sure. To be partnered with a brand like Attack the Day really stood out to me as, you know, that's me. That's something that I believe in and I can really get behind that. And if their whole philosophy is just the love of the outdoors, yeah, I could really buy into that. Becoming a professional triathlete and becoming an athlete that actually does their day job besides swimming in the outdoors every day, it certainly correlates really well.
So the idea is just a nice aerobic 45 minutes, pretty much recovery, preparing the legs for bike session later. So my background was a runner. and I guess it helps to be a good runner in triathlon because you need to run fast to win races. So yeah, it's definitely the best bit of the day.
I used to do English schools cross country every year, which is sort of a national cross country. And I think the first year I did it came 166th. I got battered, but I just enjoyed it. And then the next year I did it, I came 27th. And I was like, you know what, 166th, 27th, that's not bad. If I really focused on this, I think I'd be quite good. And then the next year I came back and got third. After that, that was the tell. I was going to be an athlete from then on. And since then, just dedicated my life towards being as best as I can be. You'll struggle to go anywhere in Leeds and find someone who's not interested in sport in some way or the other. You might have seen earlier, there was a little bit of artwork on the wall of the John Charles track. That's got West Yorkshire's gold medalists, silver medalists and bronze medalists from London 2012. It's really inspirational. And that's, I think, success breeds success. You've heard it before. That's what Leeds gives everyone. And just to run past that 3 times a week, every morning thinking, you know, one day my name could be on that wall. That's the run done. That was 45 minutes, 50 minutes I think. Nice and steady, like aerobic, all under LT1. Yeah, legs feel good. The run today is just nice and chilled out. It splits the hard swim and hard ride. The idea of the run is to make it as easy as possible, really. Take my shoes off, get in the car, have my recovery, and then drive home and go get some breakfast. It's a 20-minute drive home. I'll drink my recovery en route home, and then yeah, as soon as I get home, I'll crack on with breakfast. Today I think it's going to be omelette on sourdough. I think it depends. If it's a really hard, like high intensity day, then I'll probably have a more carb-based breakfast, like a porridge. But today it's probably just a standard omelette for me. We're doing 2 things. We're recovering from the swim run, and we're also fueling for the bike session. This is my morning routine. So I get up, I have to have double toast now. So I get my skin folds tested every 4 weeks to make sure that I'm not getting too lean during the winter. And if you do loads of training in the mornings, you often do a lot of that training fasted. And if you want to get lean, fantastic. But for us, we don't really want to get lean in the winter. You want to be healthy enough to train and to keep yourself injury free, especially when it gets really cold. So I have to double toast it. I have to drink an energy drink during the swim. I have to have a banana between the swim and the run, which is what I had this morning. And then I have to have a shake post-swim run, or like a pint of milk on my way home. So I have to tick all those 4 things off just to fuel the morning session before coming here and then fueling again for the afternoon session. So if you don't fuel today well, actually yesterday was a 6-hour day still. It was like a 2-hour swim, 4-hour bike ride. And if you don't fuel that, then you're going into today under-fueled. And then you've got to get through the threshold swim, run, and 2.5 hours on bike we'll do later with a bike session. You're just constantly in a calorie deficit. And if you're constantly in a calorie deficit, you keep losing weight, you keep burning fuels that you actually need to keep your body healthy through the winter. And that's a downward spiral. That's when you start picking up bone injuries and
Stress fractures, things like that.
absolutely that classic overuse injury that all endurance athletes dread. I generally have a 2-egg omelette. So I go 2 eggs, 2 mushrooms, and they're quite big mushrooms. Chop a bit of extra ham in. It's good extra protein as well. And then once that goes in, I then sprinkle some salad, just some salad leaves. I'm not starting my own cooking show after this, although I did watch MasterChef The Professionals last night. This is what I generally do over breakfast. I fill in what I've done that day. So this was this morning's swim. It was an hour 30-ish, and I think I swam 5:08 because I did a little bit more than what was on the board. Aerobic run. That was a 45-minute loop. And then, yeah, next up, we've got this juicy little session, just a bike hill session. So being so early in the season, in November, the aim of today's cycling session is just to develop that strength and just build that sort of strength base. I find hills one of the best ways to do that, because you can't really cheat a hill. You're going to have to push power to get to the top of it. And that's the aim, just push sort of 4 to 6 to 7 minutes of power. It depends on what hills I pick to ride up. For me, I don't really put too much of an emphasis on numbers right now, especially in the first few weeks of training. It's all about just working hard and going to an effort level. It won't be full beans, it won't be maximum effort, but it will certainly be hard. So, here are my two tri-suits. This is the one that I raced my World Series in. It's one that I raced Leeds in and Abu Dhabi in this year. And probably the one I'm going to race next year in as well. Being a reserve at the Olympics, you get given the suit just in case you race. Obviously I didn't race, but it's always quite nice to have it. My favourite one's the picture in the middle there. It's just a reminder that they're always there for me, because none of this would be possible without them. Dad drove me all across the country when I was a junior, and all they want to do is help. So I'm just blessed to have a family as supportive as the one that I do. My dad got this for me, and it's a great poem if you give it a read, but my favourite line is, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and what's more, you'll be a man, my son. Yeah, that always gives me chills. I just, whenever I think, like, last 60 seconds of a rep, anyone can do anything for 60 seconds, I believe. And so, yeah, that always stays at kind of the forefront of my mind, and just makes you believe that anything's possible, really. Obviously, you're on the bike for 2.5 hours, and a lot of that's hard. So therefore, I need to bring my nutrition with me. Today I'll bring an energy drink in my bottle, maybe even 2, depending on how hard I think it's going to be. I'll put an energy bar in my pocket and a gel in my pocket as well. And I'll probably have the gel after the first 2 hill reps, and then the bar on the way home after the last hill rep. You need to control the controllables, and I can control only what I can do. And so that's what I'm going to focus on. If I focus on what's out of my control, which is what other people are doing, then that's not going to help me get to where I want to be. Whatever happens on race day happens on race day. You can then go to bed that night being happy that you've done everything you can be to be the best athlete you can be. For me, it's all about controlling the controllables, focusing on the process, and then whatever happens, happens.